excited for my guest today. I can't wait. It's going to be a great show. Can't wait. I'm so excited for this show. Craig Berry Experience is going to rock. Are you ready for the Craig Berry Experience on New Day Talk Radio, where every day's a new day? Hi, you're just in time to watch the Craig Berry Experience. Enjoy the show. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Craig Berry Experience. And I am Craig Berry, and you are whoever you are. Hope everybody is having a terrific day today here at New Day Talk Radio. Did you miss me? Last week was my anniversary. Yes, it was a great time with Amy. However, little car accident, but we're doing great and we're loving life. So today on New Day Talk Radio on the Craig Berry Experience, I have a very special guest. His name is Aaron Sieber. And Aaron, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes. So, Aaron, tell us a little bit about what you do. It's edibles, Cree edibles. Am I correct? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, it's Cree edibles.
Okay.
Essentially, what they are medicinal infused edibles.
Mm-hmm.
Bars, as we call them. They're oatmeal bars. We make the cannabis using coconut oil instead of butter, and use really the best ingredients to produce our bars. And yeah, we use them for a lot of different things medicinally.
Excellent. I see we have a picture of one on the screen right now. That's called the Toffee Raisin.
Toffee Raisin.
Yes.
Yeah. That's our original bar.
Okay.
We started with that bar. It's a recipe that started with my grandfather, who was a baker, and then my sister and I got together when I was sick and fighting cancer, and came up with a recipe that tasted good at the time. Threw a little toffee, little raisins in it, and a couple of other special things, and came up with the first bar, the Toffee Raisin Bar.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about your story, how you got started with edibles and medicinal marijuana.
Yeah. Well, for about 9 years, I've had my medical card in California. I've had arthritis in my knees, problems sleeping, those kinds of things, and so I just occasionally would smoke. I've never been a real so a lot of people like to think, if they hear the word cannabis or marijuana, being a stoner. I'm a very casual smoker, and I got cancer, diagnosed with stage 4 throat and neck cancer in July of last year, and I got to a point where I couldn't smoke it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to start eating it, and came up with several different ways of taking it, in addition to doing CBD oils, which I believe were very helpful in bringing me into complete remission this past January, which is nothing short of a miracle. I'm very fortunate to be sitting here with you today. I truly believe that, and I'm here to pay it forward in any way I can for anyone who will listen or just needs help. So
well, a couple of things. Number one, thank you very much for being here today, and we're very honored and blessed that you are here.
Thank you.
And we're very lucky to have you. But number two, how do you pay it forward? What is Cree Edibles all about?
Well, I guess I'll go back to where I first am told that my cancer derived from. Being a casual smoker and drinker, that's where most people will get this kind of a disease. It was throat and neck cancer. I happened to be in New York on 9/11 and went to Ground Zero, just volunteered, and spent a week down there just about helping out with all the smoke and whatever, just inhaling a lot of stuff. And so I didn't really think about it at the time, but it's just, you help people when they need help. And 13 years later, you fast forward, I get diagnosed with this disease, and go back and research, and it just turns out that everything that I had ingested, I'm kind of a poster child for all the disease that others had gotten that were there as well. So again, now we come and fast forward to Creatibles, and the whole concept of just having a second chance at life. I really just started thinking about what do we want to do as a business and a model. And most people think of cannabis and marijuana, the dark side of it. And it's true, there is a dark side to it, and there are a lot of people doing it that are problematic, I'll just say. And what we wanted to do is elevate, bring the conversation out of the shadows, and essentially with the product that we do, we support a group called Walk with Sally in the front end of our business, and essentially they cater to 7 to 19-year-old young people, and they mentor them whose parents have cancer or have died from cancer, or guardians. My father died when I was 9 of cancer, and having had cancer as a father, I could relate to that story pretty well. So we adopted them as our front end in supporting. So anything that we do, we go out and do fundraising. We try to incorporate them in that picture. The backside of it is the edible that you showed on the screen a few minutes ago is in a plastic container. And before I got involved in all this, I was a design build contractor. I was a green building contractor, and so the environment's very important to me. When we found the container, the plastic container, a Tupperware type of container, I looked at it and I thought, plastic, it's not really that good. So what can we do about this? So what we decided to do is we wanted to produce an always fresh product, which is a word that we've adopted with our product. And so with that, we have a product that has a 6-month to a year shelf life. We recycle the containers. We will take them back from the dispensaries or the outlet stores, or the consumer will pay for the shipping to get the containers back. We then use a veteran service or a group of adults who have mentally challenged, and we take the containers to them. They clean them, sanitize them, give them back to us. We repurpose them, put them back on the shelf and back in the market. So we're trying to recycle, create jobs, and being really just solid with the community. So
it seems to me that Creatibles is a foundation. May I call it a foundation, or
it's a nonprofit?
Nonprofit, okay.
Yes.
A nonprofit that really wants to help people, and there is a good side to medical marijuana, or regular marijuana as well.
Absolutely.
Like everything else is good and bad, and I think if we accentuate the positive, people will be better educated and more aware of what's going on, not just this old Nancy Reagan say no to drugs
right.
BS, which it is.
Well, yeah, let's be real. Alcohol's legal. Prescription drugs are legal. They're the most abused, and people are dying from that every day.
Absolutely.
No one's died from a cannabis overdose. But there's a lot of benefit there, and again, it's about bringing the conversation out of the shadow and talk about all the good it does. There are plenty of epileptic people who've take CBD oils, have reduced or eliminated their epileptic seizures, brain tumors. There's so many things that can be done, but because it's classified, it's in the category of a class 1 drug, along with heroin and methamphetamine and all of those kinds of things. They can't get the money for the research. So the first thing that has to happen is it needs to be declassified down to a level 2 or 3.
I don't even think it's a drug.
It's not a drug, it's an herb.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good herb. I mean, you can do a lot of things with it. And for anxiety, nausea with your chemotherapy, there are just so many benefits to it.
Glaucoma.
Yeah, I mean, the list is really long. And in fact, we put in each of our products, we give a list of ailments that it will help treat. So then you have to decide between the THC cannabinoid, or is it the CBD, or both.
Right, exactly. And it was legal in this country until when, 1970?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. So why is it illegal?
Well,
in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it's politics. It really, at the end of the day, it boils down to politics, and people who have money to kind of put it to the wayside, just like with hemp and cotton. Hemp is a great product for clothing and making ropes and twine and whatever. So yeah, it's just it's the opinion of few that affect the many, in my opinion.
Exactly. And folks, if you want to call in and chime in on the subject, please do. 213-984-1481, 213-984-1481. And we are here with Aaron Sieber. And Aaron, what is your title with Creatibles?
I'm the founder.
You're the founder.
I'm the founder. I don't know. I'm bottle washer.
So a little bit of everything. Wear
Yeah.
many hats. I understand. How long have you been using edibles and marijuana?
You know, as a young man, I experimented with cannabis, and I like to call it cannabis because
Mhm.
when you use the word marijuana, I mean, it's a big turnoff to a lot of people.
Sure.
And I think that when you use cannabis, it's people stop and think of the word and then think of the association with marijuana. So, you know, just trying to diffuse the negative stigma behind that. But anyway, since a young man, I've been using it, again, casually.
Mhm.
And since cancer, I use it 3 times a week, probably, just to keep my body, even though I'm in complete remission, they can't find the cancer in my body, which, again, is, I don't know, just amazing to me. But I just kind of do a maintenance program like that, and it works for me.
Sure, absolutely. It works for you, and you seem, as people can see you seem physically very healthy.
I feel really healthy. I do.
You do. And we met about, what, a month ago or so?
Yes.
And when we met, you look healthier today than you did
Well,
even a month ago.
Thank you. I do try to, I mean, I love to eat. I lost the ability to eat going through my treatments.
Mhm.
We don't realize how much we take for granted being able to swallow, chew, put something on your tongue. And when you lose those capabilities, I think you get a whole new respect for being able to do it. And so I don't want to lose those functions again. So
Sure.
I just try to take care of myself as much as possible.
Absolutely. Now, one thing that you mentioned, you were at 9/11 helping out, and you got particles and so forth, and
Yeah.
that may have caused the cancer.
Right.
Okay. But you also mentioned before we went on the air that you might have some PTSD.
Yeah. So I do a lot of events, and I just went to an event a couple of weeks ago that doctors were talking about our military personnel, the veterans who have PTSD, and how cannabis is helping them. And they went into this long explanation of how PTSD affects people, but a lot of people aren't diagnosed. And I was sitting there listening, and it just, so many things that they talked about just made sense to me. And so I really feel that that has affected me for a long time. It's good to recognize it. And so I adopted a program that they're doing for our vets. More vets have committed suicide than have died in a war, or in these most recent wars. And they use a .22 shell to usually commit suicide. And so they have this program that they're trying to help vets and get cannabis to them and help them with some of their other issues. And I just want to be a part of that movement, and kind of coming back to that whole pay it forward. I think if we all just stop down as a society and think of how we can just help someone. I mean, if it's helping someone open a door, whatever.
Exactly.
Just doing something good for somebody else, I think is good.
Exactly. And I think my own personal belief is that we're on this earth to do that for others. We can't be selfish. If we become selfish, we become aristocratic and kind of oligarchy.
Yeah.
Kind of, well, I won't get too political, but it's kind of like one particular party is right now.
Yeah.
And
Well, we get complacent, I think, and we just lose track of where we are and why really we're here to, to be a part of each other's lives. And I don't mean to be, I can't even think of the word right now, but I just don't want to be, saying things that sound philosophical is the word I'm looking for.
that's okay. You have this forum to be philosophical
Yeah.
if you choose.
But, I mean, it kind of is that. You got to kind of rub on the edge of those kinds of things because it's just the right thing to do. And I think that's, at the end of the day, it's just doing the right thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. To do the right thing. Now, cannabis, let's face it, I'm going to shock my audience here. Craig Berry, use cannabis. I don't
What's
know.
so shocking about that? Why is this?
Well, no, they think I'm this straight-laced guy. Well,
Okay.
Yeah, but it's funny. I would rather, and I was telling my wife this recently. I would rather take 2 hits of a joint than drink anything. I don't like to drink. when I smoke cannabis, I relax. Granted, I gain a little weight.
From the eating. Right?
Yes, but I relax.
Yeah.
When I'm having alcohol, I don't even know how to describe myself. I'm not very nice. And so that's a huge difference.
Yeah, and I'm not sure everybody's like that, but you know, the other side is that it's not really healthy. I mean, there's a lot of sugar in it. Cancer loves sugar. So there's a lot of reasons not to do that. And there's all kinds of ways to ingest it. And with an edible, what's really nice is that when you smoke it, you get high in maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and you're high for an hour or two.
Yeah.
When you do an edible, it might take an hour or two to get high,
Right.
if that's what you're looking to do. Or you can just kind of take the edge off, like a glass of wine. You sit down, you drink half a glass of wine, and all of a sudden you feel like, wow, today wasn't so bad, and you start thinking of other things, and that's kind of really where I like to go.
That's where I like to go as well.
Right. And so I think that people, you know, are just kind of looking for that. And I think in society, I mean, I look at you and I think, okay, well, this guy may not smoke, but we would really be surprised at how many people partake and have. And when I do talks, I do educational seminars.
Sure.
And I talk to people and I look around the room and I will ask, I bet you half the people in here have had an experience with marijuana or cannabis in their lifetime.
Oh, sure.
Dead silence. You can hear a pin drop. And it's funny because half of them probably have, but nobody wants to step up and say anything. And it's like, really? I mean, come on. It's been around for so long, and it's really not a big deal, but it has to be regulated, and there have to be taxes paid, and I'm totally about that and for that, and weeding out the bad elements in it, because it can be very much a part of community.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to show through Creatables.
Absolutely. And again, my wife and I were having this very similar conversation where you have to tax it. And even
Absolutely.
heavily tax it if it must be. I mean,
Yeah.
here in California, the sales tax is what, 10%?
Yeah.
Something
very
ridiculous
close
like that. Make cannabis 12%.
You know, I mean, whatever. The people need it, and the people will use it. And so it's proven in Colorado
Right.
and Oregon. It works.
And Washington, D.C.
And
now.
Washington, D.C. I mean, and it's coming down the line. Recreational will be...
Just an aside here, Washington, D.C. is a perfect place to have it
Right.
legal.
And go figure. All you politicians out there.
I swear to God, I did not smoke a joint.
I didn't inhale.
I didn't inhale.
Yeah.
But
That's funny.
it's a relaxing thing, and it needs to be regulated.
Yes.
And other things that are non-violent, that don't hurt anybody,
Right.
need to be regulated, in my opinion, as well. Some people say, well, if you legalize cannabis, it's a gateway to cocaine and heroin. No, it's not. It's not a drug.
What about alcohol?
Alcohol is far worse.
What about prescription drugs? I mean, come on, really? It's get real with things. And the other thing is that you're putting these pharmaceuticals in your body, these synthetic drugs. And when I was getting prescribed treatments, my chemo treatments, is that, you know, I would get nausea. Well, we've got something for that. Well, I'd get constipated from the nausea, the medication I took for that. Well, but we got something for that.
Right.
Everything has another drug to take, and it's like, look, I take a Tums, it's fine. Well, but this is better. I don't need that better. If I have something that works, that's non-invasive to my body, I mean, you're already injecting me with all of these poisons and all this radiation. I mean,
Why do you want to take more chemicals?
you know, I mean, what else can you do to me? So it's that perpetual use of these things that, and it comes down to education. It's very simple. It's education.
Well,
And that's what we need to put out in society and talk about the truth, the good and the bad. Let's diffuse all the nonsense, and let's get to the root of and the core of the problem.
exactly. And like I alluded to before, the war on drugs that Nancy Reagan came up with in the 80s. I don't know what it is with people in this country. They seem to be so brainwashed with everything that Ronnie and Nancy Reagan said or did. Now, my political opinion, I'm a left-wing Democrat. I'm pretty far out there.
Right.
I think Bernie Sanders is a little further right than I am.
Okay.
All right. So obviously I never cared for the Reagans, and I was granted 12, 13 years old in 1980.
Right.
And I don't know what it was. Everything that family said, people took as gospel, and I don't get it.
I think that people just do anyway, you know, and that's the problem, is that people are looking for something to hang their hat on. And they don't fact check, and they should. But you know, I'll tell you, I'm in the middle. I'm liberal about some things. I'm conservative about others, and so it just depends on what the matter is. And I'll tell you the one thing that Reagan did say. One thing I can comes to memory that I do think was good is, you know, trust but verify.
I agree.
And so, you know, and there was a lot of things that I disagree with, but you know, there's things I disagree with. So I hear what you're saying with that, and I think that we all just need to have a little bit of an awakening and look at reality of where we are, and look at what's really pushing our society and our economics and our financials and what's going on. And cannabis can turn a lot of things around, both at a state level and federal level.
Exactly. I think there's a very, very good thing for the federal level.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's what we just talked about, taxes. It will bring in income for the federal government, state government, local governments.
Right.
It will bring in jobs. It will bring in everything. It will help the economy.
It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of jobs and everything that can happen. And the problem also is that banks, you can't put your money in a bank, and because of the cash and the whole scenarios behind that, and banks won't touch it because the feds are behind them, and the chance of getting sued and whatever. So I think that once that kind of turns around, you'll see a lot of things changing. But you know, people just have to feel good about it. It has to be thought through, and just make sensible decisions. I don't know what else to. I mean, I can't put it any more simple than that.
I think we as a society have become numb to education.
For sure.
And
we don't want to take the time to learn. We just want to hear what is it? Okay, yeah, and you run with it. And it could be
I'm going to give
worst thing.
I'm going to give you a perfect example. It has nothing to do with cannabis. I'm a Patriots fan, number one.
Okay. Well, they're going through some issues right now.
Right. Deflategate. Really? Come on.
Right.
Ball's 1/10 or 2/10 of a PSI. Who cares?
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what it is. You run with it, and people are making rash decisions and not thinking things through. What happened to the great society we once had?
Yeah. I don't know, but you know, you make touch a good point there, and I think the reason that people go after the Patriots is because of all of the successes they've had. If they were the biggest losing team, like the Raiders, yeah, you're not going to say anything. You say, well, that's why they're losing all the games,
right?
And it's not a big deal. They let it go. So, yeah, I mean, you know, people are latching onto things that they just don't have anything better to do with their time or whatever. I don't know.
And that's what's happening. And I don't know. We had a better ideal in this country years back. Granted, it wasn't right for everybody.
Right.
I'll leave it at that. But the ideals of working hard and really caring for everybody should be ingrained with us.
Right.
And I think Creatibles is that it cares for people. Look at all jobs. People go to creatibles.org. Check out that website. It's awesome.
And can we just say
Yes.
it's Creatibles, CRE-edibles with an S.org.
Right.
Creatibles.org.
Right. It's awesome. It's an awesome website, and you know what? We need to help others, and I'll put up that website as well. Now, how long have you been doing edibles? How long have you been eating the edibles?
You know, as I was saying earlier, I've been eating them maybe for about 6 months regularly. And it's actually a really great way to do cannabis. You don't have to smoke it. There's no smell and odor. And the key to it is dosing. You really need to start with a small dose and dose up, because you cannot dose down. And that's the problem a lot of people make. And we have a low dose bar. You'll find a lot of products out there that are 100, 200, 300 milligram products, and our bars are 50 milligrams each. I do 1/8 of one of those. So I do 6.5 milligrams, and I'm fine. I can function completely. I've totally got all my senses intact. So, you know, again, it's education, and I've been doing them for 6 months, and it's really good. And I don't know. All I can say is, you know, try it. Talk to somebody in a group. I support do cancer support groups. And if you have any questions, get a hold of us through the website. Contact me directly, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. And for people who are looking to maybe get into the cannabis industry and take advantage of some of these financial opportunities, I would say that we'd be happy to share anything that we can to give you some good, solid advice as to how to maybe get involved from that perspective.
Exactly, and that's really a good idea. And I'm actually going to put up the website right now on the screen. It's www.cre-edibles, EDIBLES.org.
Right.
And there it is on the screen. And it's really a good cause to help people with cancer, glaucoma, aches and pains.
It's amazing. I go to group every week, even though I'm complete remission. Again, they can't find it in my body. I go back and support the people who are still fighting the fight, and it's amazing when they try it and get rid of doing their anxiety medicine. So even if you can't stop doing the synthetics that you're doing, if you could reduce it, that's a step in the right direction.
Right.
So that's just.
Now, you mentioned you do something with Walk with Sally.
Yeah.
And what is
Great
Walk with
cause.
Sally?
That's a great cause. They've been around for about 10 years, and it was started by a gentleman. His name is Nick, and I apologize, his last name escapes me right now.
Right.
But, we came across him because we were looking for a nonprofit that we could support. Again, we were looking for a nonprofit in the front end and the back end so that we make sure we're paying it forward for full cycle. But what they do is they cater to kids that have a parent or guardian who either have cancer or have died from cancer, and they mentor them. And so I've gotten involved with them to be a mentor. I've mentored young youth from the Boys and Girls Clubs and things like that. I have a mentoring program within CRE-Edibles. And so it's just a way to speak to these kids who, if I had somebody back when I was 9, I sure would have liked to have had someone to speak to kind of let some of these things out and, get them together and let them know that it's okay, and, it's not the end of the world, even though it really feels like it. So they do a lot of, they've got an event coming up in June. If you go to walkwithsally.org, you can get more information from there. If you want to be a volunteer, they need them. They have kids that don't have mentors. So, step up if you have the time and get involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a good cause. Now, you've been in remission for how long?
Well, they told me on January 5th. December 23rd is when they took the PET scan.
Right.
So I like to think it was December 23rd.
Right.
So it was less than 6 months that I went through this course, but I was taking CBD oils and I was putting it on honey. My sister was telling me, put honey in because it'll coat your throat. And so I would put CBD oil, and I was doing cinnamon and turmeric and cumin, all these spices that are really notorious for helping fight cancer and that kind of stuff. And I would put it on the honey and eat it, and I did it so much I don't really like some of those spices right now, but I don't know what worked. And I'm not a doctor, and I can't speak to what happened, but I know that I did chemo, radiation. They really hit me hard with all of that stuff, and I did cannabis, and I was juicing, and I was using Juice Plus and doing acupuncture. So whatever worked. And when you get told that you have cancer, especially stage 4, life changes.
Exactly. Well, you really put your life and everything into the proper perspective.
Completely,
that's definitely the case. What about what kind of cancer was it?
It was throat and neck cancer. It was a squamous cell carcinoma. It started in my tonsil and then spread to my lymph node and the back of my throat and stuff. And again, they traced it back to, we looked at all the medical records, and it's an extremely high chance that, I got it from, I wasn't wearing a respirator at ground zero, and it was, everybody knows from the pictures, there was a lot of smoke and dust and crap in the air. And when I came back, I had this chronic cough. And I went to my doctors and told them where I'd been, and they said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal." I started getting bronchitis. Never had bronchitis in my life. So for 13 years, I just kept getting these symptoms, and I just come to find out that I had the symptoms. Again, a poster child for the chronological order of the way things unfolded, and But the good news is that I'm here, and I'm here for a reason. Yeah, knock on the table. But for a reason, and to be sitting here and talking to you and to your audience and anyone that'll listen,
Right.
and just trying to open up new opportunities and things for people, and just any way that I can help someone, here.
Well, and thank God for that.
Yeah.
Thank God, because a very close friend of ours, in fact, the person who introduced my wife and I, she had stage 4 stomach cancer. She's doing better now, knock on wood. But it was cannabis that helped her too.
Right.
She would smoke 4 or 5 joints a day after chemotherapy. And she felt really strong after the chemo.
Right.
She's had other health issues that we were all kind of sitting around and we were like, geez, I think the doctors are the drug pushers in this world.
In many ways they are, for sure.
But I don't think they know everything about it. And
It's true, they don't. And they don't share information when they're researching it, because that's where their dollars come from, is to hold this information. And it's a shame, because if they would collaborate with other people, other doctors, in doing research, I think we could get to the cures a lot quicker. But I don't think people want to get to a cure either, certain entities.
why?
There's more money in the treatment than there is in the prevention.
That's the part that bothers me.
Yeah. I actually have a friend in Florida, really quick, that has prostate cancer, and he actually works for the state. And he went through this whole scenario, and with cancer and curing it, or I wouldn't say curing it, but helping it go away, is your body doesn't heal unless it's completely at rest. And that's why I used cannabis before, but he wouldn't start using it because of the laws and everything. He didn't want to break the laws. The gal in Georgia that had the seizures, they wanted to take the cannabis oil, the CBD oil, and they wouldn't let them, so they went to Denver. Her seizures stopped. He's going to get treatments in Boston or somewhere.
My hometown.
And come to find out, the university there that he's getting these special treatments from has been doing CBD treatments and research for cannabinoids on prostate cancer,
Oh, Tufts.
having great results.
Yes,
Nobody knew
Tufts,
that.
Tufts
Yeah.
University has been doing
Right.
that for years.
So
Yes.
why not put it out there? This guy had his prostate removed. You know, I mean, he's been through all of this stuff, and he's so worried about losing his job. And finally, I was just like, you know what? Go to jail or 6 feet under.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. We're talking our lives here. So it should be open to that. And I think it's going there, but it's just so many hiccups and so many hurdles. And if the right people don't have their hands in the cookie jar, they don't want to get it passed. And so it's, it's a mess. And it can
Exactly.
get worked out.
Exactly, and that's part of the problem. As I mentioned, that maybe the doctors are the drug pushers, but the pharmaceutical companies, they're the cartel.
Right.
I mean, some of these drugs, if you ever see a commercial for any of them,
The list of side effects?
the list of side effects are way worse than the symptoms.
When I hear that, I wonder, how does somebody make a decision to take it when you hear all of that? I don't get it. I really don't get it when you talk about the side effects. And the side effects of cannabis are like, okay, you get munchies, you get a good night's sleep. There's no side effects the next morning or any of those kinds of things. So, so it's I don't know. It is a mess with that, with the prescription, but that's about to change, because it's a grassroots situation, and it will change. And I think a lot of people who are in denial about it have a very big surprise coming.
Exactly, and it helps people. It takes pain away.
Completely.
I don't understand. I never understood it. And hemp clothing is wonderful.
You know what? I've got some hemp clothes, and I will tell you that, I'm a guy. Sometimes I don't hang my shirts right away or whatever.
Yeah, well, we're
I can
guys,
take
so
that shirt and I shake it. Wrinkles come right out.
Yeah.
It wears well. It breathes well. It's a great product.
And it washes well too.
The durability. I've got shirts that are cotton, and I've washed them as many times, and this shirt just keeps on going. I mean, it's a great product. I mean, there's so many benefits to it. I think it's the plant of the century, really, and the more that we find out about it. And Israel has been really big on the forefront of researching CBDs and whatever, and we're letting other countries eat our lunch, as we do in a lot of things, because we just don't want to allow things to happen here.
Because it's all controlled by the mighty dollar.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. So, you know.
And that's sad because we're supposed to be the forefront of everything in the world,
Right.
allegedly.
Right. We're the,
Yeah. Why aren't we?
well, we're good at war and all those kinds of things. And again, not to be political, but rather than, you know, kind of controlling people and taking people out, why don't we look at how we can boost people up and elevate them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to veterans. When the veterans come back from wars,
Yeah.
they need something to do.
Yeah.
And they're very qualified. And that's why I think Cree Edibles is just perfect.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people doing a lot of things for veterans. Before I got into doing this, I was a builder, as I said, and we did homes for our troops, where we built homes for soldiers that had missing multiple limbs.
Mhm.
So the homes were specially designed for them to get in and around. I didn't. But Homes for Our Troops would buy the lot, build the house, and do all that. We came in and provided our energy services to make sure that the homes were energy efficient and certified them. And yeah, there's all kinds of causes, and the troops need a break. My son's a veteran,
Right.
and
Well, thank your son for serving in our
Yeah.
serving our country.
and I would just like to say to all the veterans out there listening to us today, thank you for your service. Everyone's most grateful to you.
Yes, and it doesn't matter what stage of the political spectrum you're from. You love our
Absolutely.
troops.
Absolutely.
And you met Lynette, who owns the station.
Yes.
And I'm very lucky to be in her life as a person who works with her and a friend and a confidant. She's a huge mentor to me. So we're pretty lucky.
You're extremely lucky. I'm looking around the studio here, and you've got quite the setup, Lynette. And I think anybody that has an opportunity to come and be a part of this organization and has a product or a service that they want to get out, they should come and check out
New Day.
New Day and put it out there, because you guys have a great operation here.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
obviously
you.
doing good by having us here. So again, we appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and it's doing us good that you're here, because we all need to be educated.
Right.
I mean, let's face it, one of my roles here at New Day Talk Radio is to get new shows, and I've talked to other people, and they said, oh yeah, we could talk about the legalization of cannabis and so forth, and they're looking at it as a completely uneducated way.
Right.
Whereas you're bringing education, facts, and a level-headedness to
Right.
this issue where it's very controversial.
Extremely controversial, and a lot of people won't speak out about it. And there are people in the community that maybe. I just did a job for a gentleman who's a sheriff, and I wore my Creatable hat one day, and he looked at me very strangely, and I don't know if he knew what to take away from that, but you know, I didn't say anything. He didn't ask, and I guess if they knew, then you know they would know, and they would go check it out. So I just think that, you know, we need to do the right things and just keep everything above board, and just keep plugging away.
Exactly. We do need to plug away. We do need to be able to say, hey, I use cannabis for my health. I'm a great person, and nobody could ever take that away from me.
Absolutely. And we're all judged by our actions, so you know,
That's right.
it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Exactly. And we have to show that we are good people, and many great people, such as yourself, use cannabis, use it for medicinal purposes, which to me, again, because the pharmaceutical companies and the side effects of these drugs, I would never take them. And my doctor, she knows I won't take many medicines. Some you need to take for cholesterol or what have you, and some may help. But she looked at me after the car accident I had last week. Saw her on Tuesday. She said, so, she says, I know the answer to this. Do you want me to prescribe you any narcotics for your pain? I just looked at her. I told her what she could prescribe me.
Right.
She said, no, she can't, because she can't prescribe that.
Right. For the cannabis.
She cannot prescribe cannabis.
Yeah, and there are certain physicians, and there again, there's a lot of people that are doing it just to smoke and whatnot, but there are a lot of people with issues. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's the way that we have to go about it right now.
Exactly.
And so we just definitely want to keep things straight and just keep moving forward, I guess.
And I think we will. I think we're coming to the age in America where people are saying, why not? I mean, look at Denver. Look at Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
It's so successful there.
Right.
It also brought the state out of the red.
Oh, completely.
And
In like a year, 2 years, they were just completely their flush.
yeah, it's completely out of the red. And now they have the best surplus of any state. Oregon, Washington State, rather.
Right.
Or is it Oregon or Washington?
Oregon.
Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to recover.
Right.
Washington, D.C., like I said before, really needs it.
Well, and hopefully the politicians that are against it, I mean, I'm sure they're out there smoking a bowl right now, but, and then they rail against it. But, how many times do we hear those stories in the media? They rail against something, but they're there doing it themselves.
Oh,
so it's ludicrous to think of the things that they do.
Oh, of course. They're against drugs and prostitution. They're smoking a bowl and they have a hooker in the room.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Unfortunate but true. Yeah. So
I don't know. I think the whole thing is ludicrous. When something that can help someone, why not have it legal and safe and taxed and even a money maker for the government?
I think that the issue really comes down to control. If they can't control the industry or the profits and whatever, and make the calls, and this is all about the haves and the have-nots. And I'm not here to take away from somebody who works hard and earns their money, but when people dictate to others what they can make and that type of thing and suppress them, I don't know.
It's a good career opportunity.
Yeah, there really is. And again, for anyone that's looking to get into the cannabis business, be careful. There are a lot of hustlers out there, and you got to watch yourself and align yourself, do some homework, and do the research that you need to do to find a good fit. And there are some great opportunities, not good, but great opportunities out there.
Exactly, and I'm putting on the camera the edible once again. And once again, this is the truffle raisin.
The toffee raisin, yeah.
Toffee raisin, I'm sorry, I need new glasses.
That's okay.
At my age...
yeah, right. I don't have my glasses on either, but I'm not reading anything. So I would also say that we're doing a full line of edibles. We're going to be opening a commercial kitchen to do edibles and helping other people develop their edible lines. So again, it's about pay it forward. There's a number of things that you can do with infusing. You can put it in spaghetti sauces and whatever for pizzas or spaghetti or whatnot. But the key is dose up, start small, and just be responsible.
Right.
Everybody needs to be responsible in anything you do. Drinking.
Exactly.
Your prescription drugs, whatever it is, just be responsible.
Exactly, and I think people lose sight of that. They lose sight of the responsibility of doing it right, and they're not doing it the right way.
Well, that's part of the problem, exactly. And a lot of people that are in the business that are doing the dispensaries and stuff, it's in an alley, it's blacked out windows, and open it up. Do educational seminars, bring people in, let them see what's going on. It's nothing to hide. And that's really what we're trying to do, is to bring it to the forefront and be a part of the community. And that's really the model that we're trying to put forward. And I think if more people did that, a lot more people would embrace it. It's not as bad as people think if it's done responsibly.
You brought up a very good point, blackened windows. Where I live here in the South Bay in a little town called Wilmington, and there's a dispensary right up the street from where we live. Blackout windows, armed guard, and he's carrying an Uzi.
Right.
What does he need an Uzi for?
Unfortunately, there are, and this is the hustlers. People are going to rip people off.
Well, that's
they
every
think it's
business.
an easy target. It's an easy business, but they think that there's all this cannabis there and money and everything, so it's a perfect target. So unfortunately, you have to have armed services around there. But I think there's other ways of doing it. I think if you could bring the dispensaries again into the limelight, into the one in Colorado. I was just there for a summit, and I met all the barons of Colorado that the TV show CNN and Sanjay Gupta did, and a lot of good material there. But having the store right on Main Street, where, again, clear windows. You could walk into, I mean, for our stores, if we were going to do those, that's what we would do.
Sure.
And come in, and again, we're going to have educational seminars, and I do guest speaking for education now. But again, it's kind of like this offbeat meeting, and people are just kind of afraid to speak up and talk. But the more I think we do that, the better it is. And if it was just a regular store, I think that people would have less issue with it. It'd be just like walking into your, local bank.
I agree. And so once again, the website is www.cre-edibles.org. And one of these days, I will learn how to type. So I'm going to put that up there one more time for people, and save that so they can see it. But it's creedibles.org, and it's a terrific website. I was, before the show, I was playing with it. I really want to thank you for coming. This has been really educational for me.
Right.
And you've opened my eyes, and I hope that everybody's eyes are a little bit wider for this. Now, is there another way that people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, if people will go to the website, but then, I mean, we'd really like you to go on there, like us on Facebook. We'd like to get boosted up in the ratings. Really, going through the website is probably the best way, but you can also call 424-263-4937. That's our office.
Okay.
And get a hold of us. But if you have an opportunity, you're looking to do a fundraiser, and it's for, people that need support from a medicinal standpoint, we'd love to hear from you. And or if it's just a business opportunity that you're maybe looking or considering, or maybe you just don't even know anything and you're looking to get pointed in the right direction, we'd be happy to help you.
What was that number one more time? 424?
424-263-4937.
4937. I'm going to put that number up there for everybody right now. That's 424-263-4937, and you can talk to Aaron, and he
and we're not there right now, so please leave a message.
Right. Wow, that would be incredible if you can be in two places.
I mean, I'm working on it.
I think we all are. Once again, I'd like to thank you. Thank you for coming. It's really and truly been an honor to have you on our show.
Thank you.
And I've learned a tremendous amount about cannabis. I'm never going to call it marijuana again.
I mean, if we just practice that would be good. I mean, call it whatever you want, but when you say the word, people just get that. I also wanted to say thank you to you one more time.
My pleasure.
I am very humbled and appreciative of allowing me to come here and speak today. And thank you, Lynette, for allowing me to be here and providing such a great studio to make this happen for all of us.
Thank you. Folks, again, Aaron Sieber is his name, and we are very lucky. Thank you very much for watching. Next week, we have a very special guest. His name is Wei Hung, and he talks about the power of positive thinking throughout. And I know I've touched on that topic a lot, so that'll be a good topic. But I'd like to thank everybody. I am Craig Berry. You're watching the Craig Berry Experience. And thank you for joining us, because here at New Day Talk Radio, every day is a new day. And we will see you next week. Talk to you soon. Ciao.